Join me for my next adventure. Right after I pray to her, I'm going to be going straight to Plato's Academy. So I'll see you there.
If a man claims that it is virtuous to love the god Zeus, then we should ask him questions. What is virtue? What is love? Are there other gods to love? If they can't even answer what love is, then how can we know that we are loving Zeus, and therefore that we are virtuous? Such analytical questions were asked by the philosopher Socrates, who basically kept asking questions about definitions or individual parts of an opponent's response until the opponent misspeaks or makes an internal inconsistency, where Socrates could show them up for being a big fat stupid dum-dum. This was known as the Socratic method, and Plato loved this power of philosophy so much that he followed Socrates around as his #1 adoring fan.
Biazura, Biazura, Biazura! It's the grand champion! I can't believe it's you standing here next to me. Say,
Looks like you are in some trouble.
After the death of Socrates, Plato would go on to establish the Platonic Academy in 387 BC, considered to be the world's first university. Basically, it's an institution for Plato and his homies to indulge in philosophical armchair discussions in continuation of Socrates' legacy. One of these legendary big brain attendees grew to hate Plato's fanboying of the Socratic trade your answers for questions instead method, but that's a story for another time. Now, I'm as smooth brain as it gets, which is why I chose to study philosophy in university. So, equipped with a fresh philosophy degree and a solid C for my maths GCSEs, I'm ready to qualify for the academy. Let's adventure forth to find Plato's Academy, where we can ask deep, thought-provoking philosophical questions and make groundbreaking discoveries, such as, is cereal a soup? How do I divide by 0? If I upload a YouTube video and no one was around to like or subscribe, did the content really happen? And, the meaning of life.
I like my coffee black, just like my heavy metal. Greek coffee, good stuff. The Commissioner of Income Tax in Gibraltar.
Yeah, Gibraltar, and so it was always, he was saying, when people, the amount of lawyers, now everybody's a lawyer, but when he was working, he said, there were 40 lawyers at the time, and I always remember there were 40, because I always used to say, 40, Alibaba and the 40 thieves. So I always remember there were 40 lawyers, because there were always 40.
Yeah, 40 lawyers, 40
working,
thieves. So, I have just had a very good conversation with another Brit, and he's actually from Gibraltar, which is the rock in the very south of Spain that, well, it probably should belong to Spain, has been English since around the 1600s. It's kind of a shame though, because so many people here in Athens are very camera shy, and I couldn't have a conversation like that if I had asked to have dialogue on the camera. People get too camera shy here, and lots of Greek people as well in Athens. They kind of get a bit irritated by people with cameras, which is understandable. I guess there's so many tourists around. I don't want to miss out on some good content like now. And obviously, just starting out, doing some vlogging, it's going to be a bit hard to get people to willingly come on camera and talk to me, especially since I'm a nobody. However, hopefully that will change. And hopefully we'll be going to some places where they will be more comfortable with a camera and willing to talk to me, because that's what I want to show you guys. I want to show you guys some interaction I can have with the common people. There's lots of wisdom that locals have. So maybe in the next Greek city or village or town, we'll be able to have a good conversation with some authentic Greek people or other travelers. Larissa, that is where we can find Plato's Academy. God, I miss the European subways. European metros, European underground stations. See, unfortunately, having lived in Canada for so long, I've become Americanized, and they got me saying subway. But no, we know it's not a subway. We know it's either a metro or an underground. So I am trying to get across to that station. Not into that station, but I'm trying to get over that station, so I can finally get to Plato's Academy. Anyway, I want to get out of this area because it smells like piss around here. I like how this clown chap was just joined in with the band. You spot him? Bubble there. Your performance is
Andy,
fantastic.
you are Andy.
Huh?
Andy.
Angli. Yeah.
Angli.
Angli. Angli.
Welcome.
Hi. Hi. Yeah. So I'm from Angli, but I live in Canada now.
Canada now.
Canada. Yeah.
Big
Canada.
trip. Big trip.
Yeah. Big trip. So I live from England. I live in Canada, and now I've come to Greece, then to Bulgaria, and then to Romania.
Ah, nice. I hope very much to have communication.
Of course, I will add you on Facebook. Yeah. Yeah. Are you okay to be in YouTube? You're going to be in a video. Yeah?
Nice, very nice.
Nice. I am boiling alive right now because someone nicked my bloody sun cream. So now I have to face the scorching sun on a Sunday where places aren't open with no sun cream. So yeah. The Irish genes inside of me are killing me, that's for sure. However, at least I got this view. Look at that. Cool. I'm tactfully going through the small streets so I can stick to the shade. That's how it's done. I am currently in the park known as Academia Platonos, where I am in search of Plato's old academy, his old school. And, well, I went to university, the University of Hull, and I studied philosophy, politics, and law. And I guess coming out with philosophy as a contribution to my degree, the biggest philosophical question I was ever asked was, well, where are you gonna go from here? Here's where I am now. I'm struggling on YouTube. Nah, I'm just kidding. It was law. Law was the one that actually got me a job at the end of the day. So cheers for that, Plato. This is what I get for studying in your school of thought. Not quite Plato's Academy just yet, but I have found the gymnasium. Apparently this gymnasium was built in the 6th century, and it's a place where the Athenian youth would have done their training. Check it out. Look at this, the old foundations of the gymnasium. I'm standing on it. I'm standing on a bit of ancient history and touching it and interacting with it, and it feels great. I love it. There's a reason why I deliberately knocked out the Parthenon, because I knew it was going to be really touristy. But now I want to take you guys and discover some actual history that isn't crowded by tourists. Bit of the unknown that no one really goes to. People just gloss over because they see the Parthenon on the hill and they think, wow, I've got to go up there. I mean, it's true. I mean, if you're ever in Athens, you probably got to do the Parthenon out of obligation. However, no one goes off looking for Plato's old academy, unless maybe you're a philosopher, like me, dare I say. And if you do some exploring, here's what you can find. And look, there's no one around. The old Athenian Gymnasium. And I'll tell you what, this park actually features a bunch of cool things around. I'm gonna take a seat right here on the foundations. I'm currently sitting on ancient stone. Lo and behold. But it's not quite the academy that we're after, so I'm still going to be hunting. With Athena's blessing, we'll find this academy. Wish me luck, guys. I have found Plato's old academy. However, I need to pass through the gate guardian. Hello. Aw, hi there. It's okay, it's okay. I am blessed by Athena. Aw. Do I have your approval? Do I have permission? Oh, you're so cute. Thank you. I'm gonna take that as a yes. Thank you. Oh, you love it. Look at that. You wanna learn philosophy with me? You wanna study about Plato and Aristotle? Which one are you? Are you a rationalist or are you an empiricist? Me? I'm a Wittgensteinian. I stand before you at the site of Plato's old academy, joined by my tour guide. Hello. And I have permission now to film at this very site. Oh, there's another cat there. Oh, they tried to get the butterfly. How distracting. Anyway, oh, I'm being followed. Plato was on the plane. The stewardess comes over and she delivers lunch to Plato and the passenger next to him. The passenger next to him, he gets a nice steamed lobster all ready to go. And Plato, well, he only gets crumpets. Plato says, hey, how can that guy over there get his lobster and I don't? Stewardess says, you need a special order to get that lobster. Plato says, I was not informed. And then he disappears. Now, if you're a philosopher, you'll get that joke. This was built in the year, I think 387. Correct me if I'm wrong, any historian out there. But the year 387 BC, before Christ. And it homed many magnificent minds of the antiquity Greek era. You know, Plato himself and his most famed student, Aristotle. Plato was a rationalist. Aristotle was an empiricist. To put it into simple terms, Aristotle favoured more so in science. You learn things and things about the world by your 5 sense perceptions. You learn things by experience. Plato, he was more of an idealist. He believed that we already have some innate knowledge. You're born already knowing some things. You believe in the idea of the forms, such as a chair, for instance. You can always think of the most perfect chair. And we get information to know about chairs because the idea of the chair already exists, or the form of the chair. Anyway, this is not a philosophy channel, so I just thought I'll give you a bit of an introduction, but if you want to actually take a crash course at philosophy, by all means. It's a very interesting subject, and it's a very interesting hobby overall. Most people pick a side between Plato, a rationalist, and Aristotle, an empiricist, a scientific man. However, if you ask me, I don't choose any of them. If you know Diogenes, that's the guy I root for. Now, Diogenes is the founder of the school of thought all about cynicism. And what cynicism is that these institutions or entities that might seem to have your best interests at heart don't quite. There's always going to be some underlying self-interest motion which they're going to go for, and it's going to be at your expense. Now, Diogenes, well, he lived a life of a cynic, criticizing all those that claim to do good for you, institutions and civilizations of modern society norms, all these modern norms back in the ancient Greek period. And so Diogenes, well, he believed in naturism, to live life most attuned to nature. And therefore, he also lived in a giant wine jar, just moving around Athens, like a hobo. No attachments to his personal things and belongings. Actually, the only thing that belonged to him was a bowl. And, well, he gave that away to a kid who was drinking water from a puddle with his hands. Diogenes said, well, I don't need this bowl with me. And so he donated it to the kid. After Alexander the Great from Macedonia conquered all of Greece, he marched straight into Athens and he found Diogenes perched somewhere around there. Alexander the Great moves up to Diogenes, casting his shadow over him, and he says, "Name one thing you want, Diogenes. One thing. For I now have an empire, and I have everything." Diogenes, he simply says, "Well, in that case, can you move out the way? Because you're blocking my sun." Alexander the Great was only just a man. Diogenes, he was a legend. So the next time you see a homeless individual who's down on their luck, they might just be a philosophical genius. Or they could just be a complete lunatic. Bring a knife just in case. And you know, after thinking about it some more, I wonder if Pythagoras came to Plato's Academy. You've probably heard of him. Pythagoras, the guy who made Pythagoras' theorem. Of course, he probably studied it in school. Well, he also owned a cult. He was a crazy guy. He believed that numbers literally were the gods. And thus, Pythagoras and all of his followers would only talk in numbers. Otherwise it was punishable by death. Had you use words. I guess that puts old Pythagoras in a very ironic position to be a scientist who also owned a cult. Much like L. Ron Hubbard or Richard Dawkins. I have just discovered this chapel right next to the Academia Platonos. It's an Orthodox chapel. You can come and privately worship. Here's all the Orthodox patrons, or the saints. One thing I notice actually, that the Orthodox share in common with Catholicism is they always depict Jesus on the cross in a very morbid fashion where he's nailed. Indy. I wonder what that means. If anyone knows, please post in the comments. Here I am, and I guess I will also join the crowd and light up a candle. There we are, don't go out. So Athena's blessing, as well as Orthodox Jesus blessing. Well, that was a really riveting adventure to go and find Plato's old academy, or at least the ruins of it. So I'm going to give you guys a pretty interesting fact. Did you know that Plato actually hated democracy, despite living in a direct democracy city-state? Now, he hated democracy because his teacher, Socrates, oh, I'm going to wait for this car. Because his teacher, Socrates, was voted to be killed and drink poison. And Socrates actually had the respect for democracy. So Socrates killed himself by the will of the public for corrupting the youth, which was his crime. In fact, Plato hated democracy so much, he even wrote a book about it, in Plato's Republic. It's been ages since I read that book, but pretty good book. Over there you'll discover why he really hated democracy and advocated for philosophers being the kings of society. Oh, Lucozade, all right. Nice. I thought those were only in England. But here they are. It's exciting to have them again.
Yes, Socrates himself is particularly missed. A lovely little thing about a bugger when he's pissed.